This next movie we're going to talk about is the Tenet. Tenet, not Tenant. Tenet. This is a movie that was announced a while back, directed by Christopher Nolan, who probably most people remember him for the Dark Knight movies. He also was director of Inception last year. Was that a year? Was that a year or 2 years ago? Holy crap! He also directed the war film Dunkirk, which you haven't seen. Dunkirk is damn good. Go check it out if you can. And he's got this new movie coming out called Tenet. It stars. Oh, hold on. Those aren't my notes. There they are. Yes, the latest movie from Christopher Nolan. It stars John David Washington, who I assume most people still know him for Black Klansman at this point. And we also got Robert Pattinson, who people mostly know for the Twilight series, but he's now going to be our new Batman, so that's probably going to change around soon. And I remember hearing rumors ago that John David Washington was going to be in the Batman movie too. Don't know if that ever got confirmed, but he's a damn good actor. Just based on what I saw from Black Klansman, I'm excited to see him in anything. So I'm definitely excited to see him in this. So the movie where John David Washington, he plays some kind of secret agent type. In the beginning of the trailer, we see him using some kind of weird bungee cord-like system to leap up the side of a building. It's actually a really cool shot and look. And then he pulls out this gun. Yeah, he's definitely some kind of secret agent on some kind of special mission. And somebody's narrating over it, talking about we all think we'd run into the fire to save somebody, but none of us really know until we feel that heat. And then as the trailer goes on, we see that he's been either captured by some kind of villain, and he takes his cyanide pill and he dies. And then he kind of wakes up in a hospital bed, and the guy is narrating the whole thing. I assume his superior, his commander, his boss, whatever, tells him, hey, you passed the test. And he says, welcome to the afterlife. So here's the thing. Was it a fake cyanide pill that knocked him out and he wakes up later? Or is this really some kind of supernatural secret agency thing? And that he literally means you're technically dead. I'm going to go with the first one, though the second one is possible, and I will explain as time goes on. So throughout the trailer, we see that he's got some new mission. Now that he's proven himself, he's passed the test, and he'll do whatever it takes, including killing himself if it means the betterment of the mission. That they're trying to prevent some kind of calamity, the next world war, a nuclear holocaust. But then it turns out that it's something even worse than that. That there's something worse than nuclear holocaust. Holy shit! Man, my nose is itchy. Sorry, guys. Worse than nuclear holocaust? I mean, what the hell? I mean, what could that be? And then the trailer goes on, and we start to get a kind of an indication. We get a few action scenes. We get the spy stuff where he's got to walk into a special party, give a special name. But then there's one trailer where it looks like a ship is going through the ocean backwards, but the waves are splashing in reverse. And that's interesting about this trailer. It's going to give some people Inception vibes because there's a reality altering aspect to it. As we see in the trailer, they're investigating things and events around him, John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, events are moving backwards. We see a car crash, and then as they're starting to drive by the crashed car, the car flips back up in the air, and all the glass that came out of its windshield goes back into it and forms, and the license plate goes back on. It's crazy. This is like I said, this movie's going to give people Inception vibes, and we see a few more of this things moving backwards. So this is definitely Christopher Nolan dipping into his fantastical, dipping into the science fiction part of his brain. And it's definitely assume it's going to capture people's attention because Christopher Nolan is definitely one of the one of the more famous directors, I want to say, of the past 20 years. I mean, the whole Dark Knight thing put him on the map. If you hadn't heard of him before, you definitely did then. And then, like I said, we had Inception. We had Interstellar, which I didn't see Interstellar, but I remember some people loved it. Some people thought it was okay. That was kind of a mixed one for him. But then you had Dunkirk, which once again, I highly recommend Dunkirk, even if it was just a very, very well-made film that had very little dialogue. The movie was just really about the experience, putting you in, following these young men who are trapped on this beach in the middle of the war, trying to survive, trying to get off the beach. whatever. And then the people were trying to come. And the only weird thing about that film was like it was one of those films where like we're following multiple storylines and they're not all lined up time wise. So that could have been a little confusing at times. But overall, it's still a really good film. I enjoyed myself thoroughly watching it. But yeah, that was just a damn good film. So yeah, I'm excited for Tenet. Tenet, not Tenant. Tenet. Like I said, Robert Pattinson's going to be in it. And a lot of people have been getting Robert Pattinson crap for being the new Batman because, once again, we all think Twilight. Listen, I didn't like the Twilight movies like a lot of people. I think they're poorly written films. I mean, for God's sakes, the books are oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of the 50 Shades. I was about to do a 50 Shades, no. I think the relationship between the two main characters with Edward and Bella, there was a horrible, horrible relationship they had. And then, I don't mind somebody reworking vampire mythology, but like, they sparkle? I don't know. Maybe you just had the one vampire that's like his weird condition. He sparkles for some reason, but I don't know. Yeah, but the point is, back to Robert Pattinson. I don't blame Robert Pattinson for being in the Twilight films. He's a young actor trying to make it, trying to get his that big role to make him known, to show what he can do. We all, a lot of actors in their early years did some goofy stuff. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, a lot of people forget this. He was in like a sequel or a reboot to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films back in the 80s. He's like really young in his career. Then I think Renee Zellweger was in the movie too. And it was like before anybody knew who the hell they were. And nobody, you hear people talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's multiple films in the franchise now, but that's one where I don't ever hear anyone talk about. I think it's called like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Point is, go easy on Robert Pattinson, because from what I've heard, since he stopped doing Twilight, he's been done mostly indie films, and apparently he's really shown his stuff. He was just in a movie called The Lighthouse, and I heard he was fantastic in that. Fortunately, I didn't get to see that one, but I heard him and Willem Dafoe were great in it. So considering this one's going to be more of like push of general audiences, I'm hoping this one makes people a little more comfortable for Robert Pattinson, because I am more than willing to give him a shot. Because, a lot of people are like, Ben Affleck can't be Batman, and then Ben Affleck was a good Batman. His Batman didn't have good writing or direction, but performance-wise, Ben Affleck was a good Batman. Oh my God. All right.
Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see a full episode, I live stream every Thursday night on Facebook right after I see the movie, or you can tune in to the Revenge Online Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 a.m. If you enjoyed the show, please consider contributing to the Patreon, patreon.com/PO Vincent.